Welcome. This is a short explanation of Delta's outsourced export model, which is a low-cost, low-risk way for ISV to export their software to any market in the world. Delta has been providing specialist channel management expertise to software companies of all sizes for over 17 years. You will see in this slide the corporate logos of a selection of our clients. Some of them, such as SAP, have been customers virtually since their inception, and I'm sure you'll recognize all the biggest firms, but there are probably more who you may not be familiar with. And this is a trend we've seen recently, where small to medium-sized companies are now coming to Delta as well as the large corporate clients. What makes Delta unique is that our services are available in virtually every country in the world, whether you're a Chinese company wanting to enter Europe, a US company wanting to enter India, a European firm going to South Africa, you get the message. We can do it. We have people all over the world selling all over the world for our clients. If you want to enter more than one new market, we can do it, which makes your business scalable. We can use lessons learned in one country to make additional ones easier. So a typical client profile. They're an established company. They've got a product which is stable. Their product is suitable to be sold through partners. It doesn't need total configuration, maybe just support and training. And you want to develop a scalable business model to prove to your investors or to management that the product can be sold all over the world, and we can create that scalable model for you. You obviously have a large export market, but you're ready to go. So what do we do? How does it work? First thing we do is sit down with you and create a value proposition and an ideal partner profile. The value proposition is what we're going to use to sell you and your product to our potential clients, which are the ideal partners. And the next stage we want to know is who those ideal partners are going to be. So we look at the size, what they're selling, the comparable products that they're selling, the complementary products that they're selling, and eventually we'll come up with an ideal partner profile. We'll then look at the market to make sure that there is actually a market locally for your product and make sure there's no barriers to entry. We then create the target database based on the ideal partner profile, and we go after the ideal partners for you. We interview, select, and recruit the partners, finally with your help, and then we sign the contracts and develop the business plans. Then we organize and manage the enablement. That means that once they're signed up, we then make sure that they're successful. We help them with sales, marketing, make sure that people are trained and supported, because there's no point in wasting a lot of time and effort creating partners and then not making sure they're successful. And then we manage the partners for you on an ideal day-to-day basis. In other words, you don't have to have people in India or South America or wherever your target market is. We'll do it for you. And we create all the reports on how well they're doing. So how do we do this? We have a global team of channel experts. In other words, what you're going to be getting here is a whole team of people for probably about half the price of a salesperson. You have researchers, salespeople, consultants, marketeers. So that's the Delta idea. So the next steps. This is a typical timeline for how this is going to work. After we've done the initial research and create the value proposition, which takes about 1 to 2 weeks, we then start to produce the data, which takes another couple of weeks. So after the first month, we're ready to go. We've got everything, all our plans in place, and we go off then and we develop a short list of partners for selection. What we do is we interview them, we discuss it, we look at their business model, and we pick a short selection for you to decide which ones to go with. Then once you've decided, we engage with the partners on the business plans, and we establish and start to generate a sales pipeline. So that typically takes 3 months. In some countries, conservative countries like Germany, it may take a little bit longer, but that's typical. And a sample fee for this is $5,000 for the first per month for the first 3 months, $4,000 per month for the second 3 months, and that's a typical initial contract. And then we get paid per partner appointment. Now these are typical, but they're not set in concrete. In other words, it's much cheaper for us to operate in places like India than it is to operate in America. So that's why we can't give you a specific price. But the total to appoint and manage 2 partners in a typical Western country would be about $35,000, which, as you can see, compares, very favorably with paying 6 months' salary on a channel partner. And that all these costs include all the fees, standard travel, translation, interpretation, all that. So it is a 6-month minimum contract, but you know exactly how much it's going to cost. So compare that with the alternatives, and I'm sure you'll find that Delta's export model is an ideal way for you to get into new markets cost effectively.